We're talking some Lions news, a lot of player transactions, IRs, and we are signing and working out some players. Let's go. Try and get to 9K. So if you are watching this and not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do Lions news and rumors, and we do Herman Moore gives his takes on our beloved Detroit Lions, as this is his channel. So let's get into some player transactions, because a lot of players just got placed in IR. James Houston, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Joshua Paschal, and Khalil Dorsey, an interesting one there, because Khalil Dorsey's injury, they said, was sickness or illness. So hopefully he's get the rest he needs. Being placed R for a sickness, I hope it's nothing serious, like a COVID, or like I had meningitis before. That knocked me out for a month. That was brutal. So, yeah, I'm praying for him, man. Hopefully you're good to go there. But the rest of the guys we all knew were going to get placed in IR. James Houston should be back in about 6 weeks. We need him back. We need this guy, this young pass rusher, to help our team out. Joshua Paschal, we don't know exactly when he's going to return, but maybe around the same time. We need him to get healthy. And CJ Gardner-Johnson is supposed to be done for the season. But maybe there's a chance he comes back by the end of the year, maybe playoff time if the Lions make the playoffs. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see, but I definitely want to see him back in the Honolulu blue and silver this year. Well, I'm praying for it. We need to see that. The Detroit Lions picked up some players, added them signed from the practice squad, and that was Chase Lucas, Kayode Awosika, and Zonovan Knight. The running back is placed with the Detroit Lions, 53, and he's going to be going in case of David Montgomery. How long David Montgomery's out? Maybe a couple weeks. We talked about this on my channel. I like what he brings, a 3.5 average. Is he David Montgomery? Absolutely not. Is he an outstanding player? No, but he's a body that we do need. And it'll be interesting if they put him above Craig Reynolds, because Craig Reynolds was having some issues last week. That's something to watch for in the upcoming weeks. Chase Lucas, happy he's back on the roster there. A good player to have. I thought he did good in preseason. He made some gains, so he's back on the Lions roster. And it'll be interesting how they utilize him or other players in regards to CJ Gardner-Johnson being gone. I would like to see Stephen Gilmore in the lineup a little bit more. What do we have in him? That would be nice to see. I don't know how they're going to do their arrangement in the defensive backfields. Your guess is as good as mine. But we do got good depth at safety, and Tracy Walker's not a bad backup at all. So is it CJ Gardner-Johnson? Absolutely not. CJ Gardner-Johnson's a player of his own. But if there is going to be injuries to the team, I guess the secondary is the place where you would want it to happen, because we have very good depth there. And it's not a massive drop-off, even though it is a drop-off. But it could be worse, right? So, Chase Lucas, happy you're back on the 53. You are a good player for sure. The Detroit Lions signed Dan Skipper to the practice squad. That's awesome, man. I wanted Dan Skipper to come back a couple weeks ago. I like him. Is he the greatest lineman? Absolutely not, but he's a good personality, and he can do a good job here and there. So, happy for Dan Skipper. He is somewhat a kind of a fan favorite, especially after Hard Knocks last year, tearing up that he didn't make the 53-man roster. Shows this guy's got heart. And he's huge. He's a massive, massive man. He is just a big body. So you're having a good player on the practice squad who potentially could be called up if there is injuries like we've sustained more, because we got some injuries to Big V and Graham Glasgow. Didn't perform particularly well. We'll see. But obviously having him is a good thing, but we don't want to see him play, because that means we have more injuries, or that means players who we currently have is not doing well. But we just got hit with injuries. We did. The Lions did work out a lot of players. Abraham Smith, running back Nate McCrary, running back Mitchell Agood, linebacker Jordan Smith, linebacker edge Kenny Willekes. I think you guys are familiar with him. Chris Jackson and Darius Phillips, all DBs. Nothing really stands out to these players out there. Kenny Willekes, maybe a little bit. Edge rusher, pass rusher. We talked about him a couple years ago. So that's the Spartan edge rusher. So I don't know if you guys remember him. If you're Spartan fans, you do. So maybe they will put him into the practice squad or sign one of these guys. There's also been rumors that Cam Akers have been talked about in a trade, that Brad Holmes may have made a phone call over there, because I know other teams made a phone call because he didn't play. I don't think the Lions are going to make a move. Why is that? Because David Montgomery is not going to be down for a long time. And we do got decent depth at the running back position. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to trade for a running back when you have the depth and it's not a long-term injury. And you drafted a guy with the 12th pick. If you're going to make a trade, I think it would have to be for a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, not for a running back. It just seems like that would be a dumb decision, unless you're doing a player swap, someone that we don't need. But giving up draft picks for a running back who is not doing good for the Rams, where we have good depth here, just doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me. It really doesn't. You know, maybe a team like the Cleveland Browns could make a phone call to them. You know, they lost their great running back for the year, but we've just, for a couple weeks, I think we can maintain a couple weeks. You know, this is a 17-game season. It's not a couple-week game season, so I'm not too worried about that one. Darius Phillips, the DB, he did go to Western Michigan, so that's something they're familiar with, but I'm pretty good with the DBs that we got right now. If they sign one of these guys, the practice squad, okay, cool. It is what it is. Pretty good there, though, at the defensive back with Chase Lucas, Stephen Gilmore. These are your low-end backups, and they're pretty good. You know, I like what they have done in the preseason, and I think we're okay there. Losing CJ, it sucks. It's a big gut punch because he's very good. He's productive. But if you have a good DC who can use some of these guys in position, you know, we can still make do with our defense. You're going to have injuries. That's part of the game. That's just what happens. So let me know your thoughts on some of these players, folks, in the comment section. I'm curious to see what do you think about Dan Skipper. Happy he's back. I do like Dan Skipper, and he's back to the 53, so it's good that the Lions brought him back. Let me know on other players. Willekes, that could be somebody you like. With that said, adios.